I'm Monet, and this is my story. I had a very close relationship with my mom. She was like my best friend. I could tell her anything, and she just knew me so well. She could automatically tell if I was having a bad day or anything, and she just always somehow knew the words to say to make me feel better. And if I was having a bad day, she just tried everything to make me feel better. I had a really good childhood, full of a lot of love. My mom always put me, my sister, and my dad first. So in 8th grade, I started noticing my mom was going to a lot of appointments, and I really didn't know why. I remember she picked me up from school one day after an appointment, and I asked her, and she didn't really say what it was for. She just said, keep me in prayer. And I remember the next day at school, we had lunchtime prayer, and I remember going and just praying for her. I really wasn't sure what I was praying for, but that Sunday, my parents took me in their room, and they told me that my mom had a biopsy done and that it was found to be cancerous, and they told me that she had breast cancer. And definitely was hard to hear because nothing like this had really ever happened to my family. And I remember after that going in my room and just crying because I just knew life wasn't gonna be the same. And shortly after, my mom started chemo and radiation, and ended up being stage 4 cancer because they caught it a little later. And although the chemo and radiation was helping, her cancer ended up spreading to her bones, her pelvis, her liver, and her spine. So she was doing chemo and radiation for a while, and through the 5 years, we had ups and downs. We had good reports that her tumor markers were going down, and we had bad times. One Thanksgiving, we had to spend it in the hospital because of complications with her radiation. But through it all, my mom had so much faith, and she hardly complained, and God gave her so much strength. She was a teacher, and through the 5 years that she was sick, she went to work almost every day. And at church, she had her own women's Bible study, and even when she was tired, not feeling good, she was there every week speaking to the women's lives. In late February, early March of 2015, I remember picking my mom up from a doctor's appointment, and she had told me that some cancer had spread to her brain, and it was scary. I remember it was only me and her, and I remember she was just telling me that she was a little scared, but that she was gonna stay faithful because that's what she had always done. And a little after that, I started noticing that it was kind of affecting her, the cancer. She would forget words. It would sometimes take her a little longer to figure out what she was saying. And then when she would write, it would kind of be scribble scrabble, and soon it started to affect her more. I remember one week, she was a teacher. She had to come home early because she was just so weak from all the chemo and everything. And soon it just affected her to the point where she pretty much, nothing she said really made sense, and it was really hard seeing her like that. And I remember April 24th, I got up early. It was the Friday before finals, so I was gonna go meet with my professor. And I remember saying goodbye to her, telling her I love her, and that would be the last time I saw her awake and conscious. And I remember a couple hours later, I was on my way to work, and my dad called me, and I could tell his voice was kind of shaky. I really wasn't sure what was wrong, but he told me to pick up my sister and come to the hospital. I didn't really think anything because my mom had been hospitalized a couple times before that, but this kind of felt different. And I remember just on the way to the hospital crying, and I was just praying to God because I really didn't know what was happening. And I remember walking into the ER, seeing my dad, and they took us to the back, and they took my family to a back room. Really still wasn't sure what was going on. We were sitting there for a little, and the doctor came in and pretty much told us that my mom's organs was shutting down and that she was dying. And that was really hard to hear. I heard him say the words, but it almost like didn't register in my mind. And I remember they let us go in the room, and she was there on the bed, and she had a tube down her throat because that was the only way she was really staying alive. And I remember holding her hand the entire time. And they said that the life support wasn't going to keep her alive for very long. So we decided to take the tube out. And I said my goodbyes to my mom. And even though that was the hardest thing to do, I still had a peace. And at first, I wasn't sure if I was just numb, but I think I realized that I had like the peace that passes all understandings. And my sister was pretty young, so I feel like sometimes it's like all she's known that my mom was sick, and it was difficult going through that, especially her still having to like go back to school. And my mom was a teacher, so you know she would help her a lot with homework. So I definitely feel like I've had to like take that role in her life, not exactly as a mother, but just like that figure, and like help her when she needs it in certain areas. But I also feel like it's gotten me and my sister much closer. My dad's always been like really strong. Even like when my mom was sick, he definitely like was the rock, and he helped me be strong too. And just seeing how like he would pray and like read the Bible and rely on that, it was like an example to me to help me do that. And even after my mom was gone, he was just really amazing. Like, he's so strong, and that definitely helped me and my sister to be strong. Like, I never thought I would lose my mom, but I had seen how much God had helped my mom when she was alive, and I think I knew that he was gonna help us even when she was gone. And like, he was faithful before, I knew he would be faithful after. And even though it was difficult through this situation, through the 5 years that my mom was sick and even after, I realized that yes, you're going to go through difficult times in your life, but God isn't just gonna leave you alone. You know, he's gonna walk with you. He's gonna give you strength when you need it. And what I've learned is that when you go through difficult times, it's not our job to get mad at God or turn away from him. Our job is to lean on him, because he really is the only thing that's gonna give you peace. He's the only thing that's gonna keep you sane when you just feel like your whole life is falling apart. And that's definitely what I've learned in these past 5 years, especially this past 2 years without my mom. I had a lot of support from my friends, and I'm so thankful for that. I feel like that's very important, even after like you lose a parent. And I even have a friend that she lost her mom, and because of what I went through, I was able to help her, and even she has been able to help me. And I think that's like very important, especially like when you lose someone to talk to, someone to like give you advice and just to help you have peace. Being frank means to me is living a life of faithfulness no matter what, and rising above any trial or hardship that may come your way, but then sharing that pain with others to give hope for those that may be going through the exact same thing. My name is Monet and I am Frank.